In this video, I'm going to be doing something a little unconventional. I'm going to be installing the Class 1 trailer hitch system that is made by Kurt. This video isn't sponsored or anything, but for me, installing a trailer hitch makes sense on a couple different points. So one, I daily the car all year round, and I also go on road trips. So having a little extra cargo space helps out a lot. And then another one is for tire carrying. So I plan on doing a lot more autocross and just kind of race type events in the next year. So being able to transport my tires a little easier rather than trying to stuff them all in the car at once, or even driving on the tires isn't really ideal. So being able to carry them is going to give me a little more flexibility with that, and just increase the longevity of my tires, because no one wants to be driving on the race tires. And kind of the same thing goes for my studded winter tires. If I plan on going anywhere long distance or with family or anything, my plan is to swap the tires when the weather's nice and put these back on, and then carrying these on the little trailer that I have for the car whenever I get that all set up. So at least that's my game plan with it. So I'm gonna show you guys how to install this and let you know how it goes. The mounting points are on the frame here. So there's these two holes here, and then there's two more on the other side. And then it's the same on both passenger and driver. So you need a little clearance to get to them. So first thing you need to do is drop the exhaust. That's pretty much the first step, so I'm gonna get to it. So here's the trailer hitch system itself, and as you can see, this is pretty beefy tubing. The website says that this is rated for 2,000 pound towing and up to 200 pounds on the tongue weight. So at least for my application, that should be more than plenty to do what I need to. But yeah, I'm gonna pull the tape off, get the hardware, and start getting the back of the car ready to install this. Hi everybody, just real quick, taking a break from that video. If you are tackling something like this by yourself, you're gonna need a couple of things. So you're gonna want a set of jacks and jack stands. Especially if you're gonna do this by yourself, I found when I was doing this, trying to lift it up on your own and try to feed the wires and bolts in yourself is a colossal pain, and you're just gonna tire yourself out. So make sure you have a set of jacks and jack stands, and then you're also going to need to grab a drill and a couple of drill bits, because what I found with at least mine, the fitment was so tight and it was slightly off that the top holes on the frame didn't quite line up the way they needed to. So if you run into the same issue like I did, I had to elongate the holes horizontally in order to get enough wiggle room in order to feed the bolts in. So just those couple things should save you a lot of time and effort. So before you even feed the bolts in, make sure you drill out the holes in the top just a little bit on the frame, and it should save you a lot of headache. And if you're enjoying any of the content and the install, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below, and I'll see you guys around. So now I'm under the car after I got the exhaust taken down. So the next step is to fish all the hardware that is supplied into its respective locations. So how it works, I kind of just did the first one just to make sure I was gonna do it right. But how it works is you take this wire and you could either do it the spring through the top hole first, or you could try to do it the other way. So you find it and fish it down, and then next part you're going to put in is the square spacer. So most of the bolts, at least for the top portion here, are going to go square spacer and then the carriage bolt. So like that, feed it through, and then you thread on the bolt, it's the next bolt. You don't have to go all the way, but if you want to make sure it's not going to fall off inside, might as well. So after that, you feed it through, and then it should pop out the top. And so you just kind of repeat that process all the way through. Yeah, for these bottom holes, I'm going to kind of do it different, slightly different than the top ones. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mate up the spacer and the bolt. Then I'm going to thread on the wire. Then come on. And then get the carriage bolt in. Push it up with the wire a little bit, and then put the plate down, and then you can feed the carriage bolt back down through. And then I'm going to do that for both of them. So yeah, you'll just pretty much repeat that process on the other side. So now that that's done, now you should be ready to get the actual hitch mounted up and tighten the bolts down. Once you got all of the bolts kind of fished through, actually take the top ones, push them back in just a bit. That way you can put the, that way when you put the hitch up, they're not getting in the way. But first thing you'll need to do before that is fish through all the corresponding lines. Chance of. So I ended up taking 2 jacks and 2 jack stands, got it braced up, and then I'm slowly raising it to the point where the bolts are sticking out of the bottom. So as long as I am able to get the nut started on at least one of these, I should be in business. Alright, cool. Those should be able to go through easily. I at least got the bottom ones through, so I'm gonna try and get them threaded, try and get my flange nuts threaded on at least one of these sides. Alright, hopefully I don't screw this up. The trick I'm gonna use to make sure I keep this bolt in place is I'm gonna use this magnet. That way I can at least start threads. Okay, sweet. I got that one started. So I'm gonna lower this a little bit. That way I can get a better lift angle on this one. Okay, that, raise it up just a little bit. Okay, that should be enough for me. Excellent, so I got those 2 up. Okay, I'm gonna have to lower this just a little. There we go, got it. Got at least the bottom one started. Now I need to manage to fish up the ones on the top. At least from what I can tell, it needs to shift up and over at least a little bit on this side. I think once I start getting these tighten up a little more, it should line up with the top holes a little bit better. So I guess that's what I'm gonna do next. Cool, that one's through. That's the last one I needed to do, so I'm gonna tighten everything up and get it torqued down. Alright, now I'm gonna get my torque wrench. And since I can't really get my torque wrench up there, I'm just going to use my wrench and just kind of do it as snugly as I can. Alright, well, all of those are snug and in place. So now after that, you can put your exhaust back up and you're all good to go. Whew. Well, so just a couple takeaways from this. This will be significantly easier to do with a second set of hands. I constantly had to adjust heights on both sides using two separate jacks and get the holes lined up, so that was kind of a pain. And then the biggest issue was getting the holes on the frame and the bracket itself lined up. If I had to start over again, I would have pre-drilled the holes on the frame slightly bigger to make it a little easier to go in through and line up on the bracket. But overall, this isn't a very hard job to do. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and I hope this guide kind of helps along, and hopefully it helps you avoid some of the issues that I ran into. Yeah, a couple other things. If you lowered your car on just like some normal lowering springs, this may not work out very well for you, just because this does sit lower than the bumper itself. I have airbags, so it's not really a problem for me. And also with suspension, if it's not adjustable, so if you can't adjust your stiffness, you may end up hitting or bottoming out and hitting the hitch on the ground. So luckily with mine, I can still adjust my stiffness and also my ride height to avoid that issue. And if you're traveling long term with trailers and weight, you'll just have to look out for just a little more added wear and tear on your rear struts. So it's just something to consider. But I hope this video helps, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe and share the video. Thank you.